Welcome back. You're listening to the Kate Daly Show. Yes, we're back. Little vacation, end of the summer. I can't believe we're into fall. What happened? What happened to this year is what I want to know. I don't know. But I am recognizing that we have the weirdest issues being talked about right now. The strangest, the strangest things: reparations and IVF and tax on tips. What? Why? Why? We we have so much going on in this country. We have so many groups that need to be outed. We have infiltrated or taken over patriot groups. We've got all kinds of things going on, and we're talking about IVF, taxpayer funded IVF, and also tax on tips. When did this become a big issue? Did the waitresses of America unite and become a thing? Why is this an issue? Why is Trump talking about it? I don't know. Anybody have an answer for me? I'd love to hear it. It's very weird to me, and it's not the role of government. So 888-673-1450. You got to call it out. I don't care what you support. You have to call the stuff out as a in a very objective way.
Yeah, I think what it shows us is that, and maybe many of them won't like this, but they all pander.
They all pander. Yeah.
They all
Pandering to
pander.
groups. It makes my theory all the more real to me. As far as I realized what's going to happen. So in the election itself, but I have to call it out because if we don't understand the proper role of government, how can we ever get the country back? We're all expecting somebody to get it back for us, but we're the masses, we're the people. So what are we doing? If we don't understand that, we've got to call this out. We've got to say IVF is not the role of government. Come on. I love the fact of talking about population and talking about babies and all of those things. I get that. You get that. We're totally anti-abortion in every single way. But this is going the other way. This is not okay. Talk about being anti-abortion. Talk about the importance of being family. But why in the world would you promote taxpayer-funded IVF? I don't want to pay for everybody else's vaccine mistakes that made them infertile. And I don't want to have to pay for IVF for everybody. And because they might have waited too long to go after that golden career, wait till their 40s to go get IVF to go have a baby. That's their personal choice. Why in the world would taxpayers have to pay for this? That's not okay. And conservatives need to be calling this stuff out. I don't see very many calling it out. Do you? Like they let it slide.
Well, the Catholics are calling it out.
Okay.
Good. Because we believe that taking a fertilized embryo and putting it in a freezer to eventually either be used or destroyed is still killing a human life. That embryo was conceived.
Right. Yeah.
So the whole process of doing it to create a life outside of the mother's womb is not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, I if you want to weigh in on this, do you feel like we have a problem in America on the conservative side calling any of this out, or just sort of letting it go because the press is so anti-conservative that you don't want to pile on? Is that the reason? Because you still have to call it out. We still have to understand that this is unconstitutional. And we should be pointing stuff out like this all the time, even at the rallies. And of course, you probably have to do that during Hormala's entire speech because everything she talks about is unconstitutional. But there are these things that come up in the Trump campaign that we need to also, put out there too. Come on.
There's one more point I'd like to make about all government programs that are designed to pay for strange things.
Right.
Most often, these unconstitutional things that government wants to pay for also happen to be immoral things.
Yeah. And it is immoral to go outside of the Constitution
yes.
to start racking up bills to pander for votes. We should not be okay with this. We should not be okay with this. Hi, caller. Welcome to the show. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I like to talk about the Venezuelan gangs, but just on this subject, there's nothing new here. This is no big issue. Mm-hmm. This is socialism. Yeah. Socialism is freedom destroying. Mm-hmm. It is immoral. Yeah. And he not only said government. He said government should pay for it, or I'm going to force the insurance companies to do it. That's totalitarian dictatorship. Right. But just briefly on the Gaza. It's not a war, genocide there. It came out on Ed Griffin, one of his Red Pill expos, that they have a whistleblower said that there was an Apache helicopter, the tremendously powerful weapon that was told to stand down. It was 10 minutes away from the October 7th event, the attacks, and they were told to stand down. Who put Hamas into power to begin with? It was the Israeli government. I mean, everywhere you look, they've been lying about everything. Those tunnels, there's more tunnels than the freeway system in the L.A. Los Angeles has the greatest number of freeway miles of freeway. And the tunnels were longer than all the freeways in the city of L.A. They just lie about everything except what the truth is. I mean, including that it's a genocide that's going on. But regarding Venezuela, remember I called in March about this, and you can go online. There's an article by different sources. One is the Miami Herald back in January, the night before Trump left office. He gave what essentially is amnesty to right around 200,000 Venezuelans. He called it a deferred enforcement departure, and just made up a term. And they were all pretty much all ready to go to send them back to Venezuela. But he said no. Now, the argument was, and Biden agreed with it and kept it going, for 18 months, we're going to keep them here because, it's kind of rough what's going on in that communist country. And this is a communist country. They came from a communist country, and he kept them here, and they never went back after 18 months. And no one's talking about this. And, of course, it's hidden by the media because that could hurt Trump and his votes. It's called deferred enforcement. Go to the Miami Herald, an article. Okay. You can just look it up. Okay. It was in January of last year, and it was one of the last things he did before he left office, the night before he left.
Thank you for that. Really appreciate the info.
I don't think the media hit it because it could hurt Trump. I think the media hit it because it's due to the communists in the United States that make that kind of thing happen. Yeah, it's communism, and.
I wonder, I was revisiting a book, and it was kind of interesting that you'd say that, because I was revisiting this book and actually on vacation. I know, I can't get away from it. What can I say? But it was all about the fact that a lot of people can't identify what communism is. They really don't know what it is.
No.
And people have a rough time kind of identifying its origins.
They're not allowing communists into the United States to escape communism. They're allowing communists into the United States to bring communism here.
Right.
There's a major difference in those two philosophies.
You're right. Yes, you're right.
And if they weren't bringing them here to bring communism, they wouldn't give them so much communism.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is kind of interesting. All you have to do to get the media all fired up about you and on a hate tirade of you is to try to say communism and the word conspiracy, because people got together, right, to put communism together, to sell communism, to implement communism, and it's a total tyranny. But it's so fascinating how they will not say it was a conspiracy by people, that people didn't conspire to do that. Very interesting. And do your kids even know? Can they identify what it is? Be right back. Kate Daly Show.
Thanks for listening to The Kate Daly Show. All opinions expressed by the program participants on The Kate Daly Show are solely their own and do not necessarily reflect the opinions of Patriot Radio, KSGO, Canyon Media, or their respective parent companies or advertisers.